Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Resilient with your host, me, Wintertooth100, and in today's episode, we're just gonna build this castle some more. That's pretty much all we're gonna do. We're just gonna build this castle because I'm so excited to get to work on this today and being able to get the rest of these walls up. So in the last episode, actually before we do that, be sure to check out the descriptions and the links below in the description. The links in the description. The thing in the place where you find the information is where you should be going if you want to see Joe Mama Why Shy /Way PhD and of course Ilokiboo, all of which are YouTuber members of the server, so you'll be able to check out other perspectives of things going on here. And maybe you get to hear some other people see my castle and be like, ugh, what is that? It's nasty. Look at that block. Anyway, yep, they're all down there. You can check them out. But we are going to get to work because there's a ton of work to be done. I'm not going to be able to do it all on camera, but last time we worked on these walls, I had a nice little time lapse for you guys. You can kind of see it. You'll notice, possibly if you have a keen eye, this is not the tower we built in the live stream, nor is that one. And in fact, the time lapse, in the time lapse, we actually only got as far as this tower on the corner here, which we didn't actually build. That's where I stopped the time lapse. It was going really long. In fact, I had to speed up some parts I didn't want to speed up because the time lapse was like 5 minutes long. And I'm like, uh-oh, it's way too long. But I came in after I closed that out, after I ended the episode, and I put this tower in. I tried to put in the other tower and it just looked horrible, so I had to swap it up. And then in the process of building this, I really liked it, so we tried to replicate it for the other two, which I still kind of like. In fact, because even from a distance, they look better. They just look cleaner, and I appreciate that. I also came through and we did this diagonal wall off camera, so I guess just me, not we. And I only got this far, but now we can put in one of those towers right here, continue the wall, do the next tower. This level that we're on, like I said in the last episode, I'd bring it down one layer, and I have. So these walls are now at the proper heights. But so for like a ease of access, I made these temporary little slab things here, so I can get up into the place, because otherwise it's quite difficult to get into. Which is, working. That's actually the purpose of a castle's walls, to make life really difficult for you to get to it. But yeah, we'll do this tower. We're gonna do this wall, and that tower, and that wall, and those towers. I'm not gonna do this diagonal until those are done, because I have a feeling these are gonna be wrong, and I'm gonna have to redo the whole thing on this side. Yep, that's good. I think I can do it. They are perfectly on a diagonal 3-block gap, so I'm pretty confident I can make this work. But it's gonna be close. So let me get my materials together. We're not gonna do another time lapse because frankly that took me all day to edit that yesterday. Like all day, like what was it, Friday? I finished recording and editing and uploading by 6 p.m. my time, and it was glorious. I had the whole evening to myself with my son and Mrs. Tooth, and it was awesome. And then last night, which was a Monday night for me, I did a time lapse, and guess what? I was here till like 3:30 a.m. finishing that editing process. So I'm not going to do that 2 nights in a row, so we're just going to do a bunch of building, and if anything special or interesting comes up, then I will take a quick break and we will discuss whatever that may be. But before we do that, this was the original wall. We'll take a look at it from... So this was the front side that was built, so you imagine there's a wall on either side of it. This was the original tower, and for it to go on a corner meant that it wasn't going to have a wall on either side, so I needed to figure out what it looked like on the sides, and that's when I realized it's not round, and it kind of looks really bad and messy, and so that's why we've scrapped it and we've gone with something far more simple. Plus I think something about it being simple surrounded by a lot of detail like that just makes it look way much better. So putting something with more detail than the already detailed walls just made this disappear, and it was kind of hard to tell that it was supposed to be one of those pokey out tower bits. Like if we come up here, on top of each of these brains, we'll find like a wooden walkway, possibly. And then you have like, this is the top of one of the towers, like it pokes outward. That was struggling with that a little bit, and that's why we've scrapped it. So I'm going to tear this down now, do that, and I will see you guys when the wall is up. So I was struggling a little bit with what I was going to talk about for the back half of this episode, but I think I figured something out. But before we get to that, I want to take a look at these walls. I'm just going to kind of do a quick wrap around. You can see I brought the grass around. So this grass, I think I said in the last episode, it's going to get replaced. I have a different plan for how we're going to terraform this, and we're not going to have grass here. I'm also struggling a little bit with what we're going to do with things like this. Like this is all going to be gone. We're going to terraform a lot of this stuff, all this extra land we're not using. We're going to terraform it down and into the ocean, and it's just going to be submerged. It's going to be a sunken land. But I did get this diagonal in. For the most part, I'm really happy with it. Obviously it's on a diagonal, so having these blocks that work only on specific 90-degree angles, they kind of look a little funny, but despite that little restriction that we get with Minecraft basics, I think it turned out really well. This is definitely like I wish I could remember the name of that map that I didn't really play on. I just kind of explored it because it was just gorgeous. But there was this map where everything was built on diagonals. You would hardly ever find a straight line like this wall. Like those were rare. Everything was built on an angle like that wall. And because everything was so angled, everything looked so natural. And in fact, one would argue it even looked better than building on straight lines. Like I really like the diagonals a lot better. It made the place seem a lot more real, in my opinion. But we have that wall. It starts up there, and now it officially wraps all the way around. So we technically have probably 60% of the outer wall done. That front bit, you know, I'm gonna have to do some terraforming on it and work on that quite a bit off camera to be able to put the walls in there. But the reason why we can't wrap these walls around, like I could probably do this front one right here, and in fact I probably should do this front bit right here, because I shouldn't have any issues with this. It's when we reach this gatehouse and wrapping all the way around to where I stopped on the wall there. These walls do not share that height. In fact, right there where that wall ends, it comes up. And then we have varying heights of this wall right here, and that's because this is all just like the kill chamber, and it's supposed to be really hard to get out, and having extra tall walls makes it extra hard to get out. Anyway, let's go back to the thing that I wanted to actually talk about. So I noticed, I've been going around, and when we first plotted this place out, I was just kind of placing blocks randomly, trying to get a feel for the shape. Well, I've since been re-going through it and double checking the spacing of all the blocks, making sure that it's not like this has a 3-block space. Well, this has a 3-block space. Well, then the next one had like a 2-block space, and so it wasn't exactly accurate. And so I've been going through and making sure that wherever these spaces are between the towers have the same spacing, so we have the same wall structure, so they're gonna look uniform all the way around. And I've been going around, and some of them are going to be a little tricky, and let me show you what is going to be tricky about them. So look at this. These are 1 block spaced here, and technically only 1 block space apart. If I were to remove this block, now we have a 3-block space, and that makes sense because our main thing has a 3-block space. Okay, but now they aren't on a diagonal, because the diagonal would put that block right here, and they're not 1-block gap. They have this weird, it's just a weird shape. And then we come back here and we have a perfect diagonal, and this one's fine. But we have weird angles on here, and so I wanted to, for the sake of anybody watching who may be trying something similar with angles has an idea of how I am rectifying the problem, so I know where I'm supposed to be building. I have taken, this is my line, this is the wall, and for me to determine, I know that they're 3 block spaces, and I don't want to mess up the 3 block spacing of it. Well, it's really hard to tell with this block, and that, basically the cobblestones, they have a 2 block gap, so where do your 3 block apart pillars go? So I've replicated the cobblestone on the front side to be on the same angle in the same line, and I've taken half slabs and built, you can see this is a 3 wide gap right here. So we've got a 3 wide gap, and using this method, right here I could have, I had the option to do something like this. I could have gone 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just like that. But looking at this, I see I have 1 pillar against this wall, and I didn't quite like that. And so putting in the half slabs to determine where your 3 wide things are going to be actually gives you a lot of freedom to determine where the flat parts of your wall will be at. And so following this, we start here. I know I want this to be a pillar, so I turn that into a solid block, and we come 3 blocks out, 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th one, of course, will be our pillar. And to determine which line going this way, which line that block is going to be on, we reference this. So if it's this line, these 2 cobblestones denote the same parallel line. So I know I need a block, 3 blocks from that, and now I know it's going to be on that line because it's parallel with this one. So I'm going to do the same thing for the next one. Count 3 blocks out, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put the 4th one. Okay, well, the 4th one, see, this isn't right. This needs to come out, and it needs to get put right there. It's on the same line as that one. So I know that's my 3rd block. So we're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. Aha. So actually this one entirely gets replaced and is now my pillar. And then, for my reference sake, I'm going to put a slab here and knock this out, and a slab here because we're running into the wall and I don't want to conflict with that. Alright, we have slept, and look at all the monsters that spawned. Oh, it's ridiculous. You want to fight? You want to fight me? I'm a bear. You're going to get the claws. Death by popsicle. That's right, death by popsicle. Alright, so much garbage on the ground. Jeez, I didn't want all your guys' garbage. Get out of here, littering in my castle. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just going to place those 2 there so I have an idea when I'm doing this straight line here. I know that that's going to be going there, just for my reference. Now I can go ahead and pop these out because these are just to denote where that wall was going to be, those straight edges on it. And I can actually pop these out now. Oh, and slashway's on. So as long as I can remember, again, I'll just put these in for reference. So as long as I can remember the lines going for those, I should be fine. And see, we got something funny going on right here. Shouldn't have popped those out. Ah, there's the mistake. So something to watch out for. These slabs that we're going to put in here must be the same angle, they must be parallel to that. The only difference is where the big blocks are going to be versus the half blocks. There we go. Now it's fine. So now when we pop this out, it should look good again. And there we go, perfect. Now I know exactly where. So this is going to be a pillar that comes straight up, this will be a pillar that comes straight up, and then we'll have our 3 block gap in here. And by doing that, now we should know. The only one that's going to be weird is, of course, this one, because they're making them perfect is probably close to impossible. If I wanted to correct this, I could shift this whole square over 1 block, but then I'll have to shift over the square over here 1 block, and I could possibly do that. It's something worth considering. In fact, let's just try it real quick. And this is basically what I've been doing to fix my stuff, right? To make sure everything's lined up first and lined up well and has a good symmetry to it. That's the word I'm looking for. Symmetry. Ha, I'm smart. Smart bear. It's just a bunch of trial and error. And there we go, just like that. Now we have a 3-block gap. So the wall's going to meet up perfect. These remain parallel, so perfectly fine. So I just want to demonstrate it one more time in real time with you guys for the first time so you can see me solve the problem firsthand. So right now I'm noticing immediately we're going to do this line that this one is already, these are already on perfect 3s, and we do not want to mess with that. I know I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to prioritize this line. Oh, you guys can probably see the Discord because that shows up in my live streams too. This line, we want to start here. This pillar, this will be a pillar for sure, 100%, no matter what happens going down and how it meets up over there. This will be a pillar because this, I don't want to mess with this. I already know these are going to be perfect based on their spacing. So we're just going to come through and we're going to repeat. So they got 1 block gap and 1 block up. So we're just going to kind of repeat that all the way up. And once we have this in, then we can grab our slabs and then we get to kind of pick and choose where we want. Ooh, cutting it close there. Now we take our slabs and we're going to pick and choose kind of where we want this line to be. So I'm looking at that, and because it's going to be meeting up right there in the back of it, I actually don't mind that this is a singular pillar. So that makes me think we should do like this. And then, oh, see, this is where it's going to get tough. So we want, oh man, that Discord. I really hope that doesn't show up in the video. Alright, so let's pop that out. And I think it's going to go something along these lines, just like that. I think we're going to use the inside of it. And then, because we know we want this to be a main pillar, we'd end up popping this one out. And there's our 3-block gap. There, now we've located it. So that's every other one here can get popped out and replaced with a slab. And so that is how we locate, oh, and see, perfect. Now it's going to be exactly a 3-block gap between each of them. Look at that. We have identified where our things are going to go. We're going to maintain the same angle. And now it's just a matter of, see how simple that was? That took, what, 60 seconds, maybe, to do that? And now I know exactly where this is going to be. So, in fact, you don't even have to necessarily do it with a second line like I've done. You could try to do it with the first line. I just fear that I would mess it up. And so I'm just going to repeat it here so I know where this is later when I come back to build this wall. And then it's every other one gets popped out. And then we replace where they get popped out with a slab. And just like that, we're going to have, this is actually going to be one of the more perfect walls because it has perfect spacing all the way through naturally. Awesome. Great. Well, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. There's going to be a live stream in less than 2 hours from the time I'm recording this episode. Obviously, it would be a few days ago by the time you're actually watching this episode. But in this next episode, don't be so surprised if these outer walls start to actually get built up and completed, because that's where we're going next with it. The live stream, I'm going to be working on this wall. And so when we get to the next episode, hopefully there'll be a lot of progress done. If you guys did not catch the live stream, it will have been uploaded to YouTube, assuming I don't have any recording issues. I've changed the live stream time, so my internet problems should be few and far between. So yeah, we're going to be working on these walls. Lots of progress is going to be made between now and that next episode. So let me do the polite thing and take off my hat so I can look you guys in the face. Oh, I'll put Popsicle away. I don't mean to threaten you. Alright, that's going to be it for today's episode, guys. Be sure to go check out the other members of the server. Their links are in the description below. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you get an update of every time one of my videos comes out, which happens to be every single day except for Sundays when I do a live stream. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked. Subscribe if you haven't. Share with your friends. And I will see you in the next one.